Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Community Updates call. Today is February 27th, 2024. I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phones. You can do that by pressing *6. Press *6 again when it's your turn to talk. And with that, we will jump right into the meeting and start with the Board of Commissioners roll call. Commissioner Scar, are you with us this morning?
Good morning, I am.
Good morning. And Commissioner Olson, are you with us this morning?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good morning. So we'll jump right in with Adventist Health Tillamook and Eric Swanson. Maybe. Eric, are you with us this morning? Well, perhaps not. And if not, let's go on to the Coastal Caucus. And if Eric joins us later, we'll definitely make room for him. So do we have Senator Weber with us this morning?
Yes, you do. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Good morning. Commissioner, I wanted to let you and Maria know that we got your letter of concern regarding the animal shelter, and we're going to be looking into that today.
Wonderful. Thank you.
There are some things that we can make work and apply pressure to make sure that, people are getting services, but sometimes we try and we don't make it. So I can't guarantee anything, but it really is, being able to have secure and working animal shelters is really important to a community. So
thank you. Truly, I agree.
It's been a busy week, but it's not been so adrenaline filled as it has been in the last 2 weeks, because right now we're waiting for bills to come over from the Senate, and then they will go to our committees as they have been passed over there, and they will be re-examined and vetted and maybe go forward and maybe not. So in the meantime, we're having several informational hearings and working on those issues, getting reports from agencies on how things are going and how how their money is being spent, and additional work that needs to be done on some of the laws and the bills that we have. Ways and Means are really working hard, though, because any bill that's going to have a fiscal impact or a need is going to go through them. And there are several Ways and Means committees, and then there is the one giant one. And so hopefully my Highway 30 bill is going to be heard in Ways and Means, and it's my sincere hope that it's going to make it over this hurdle, as there was another bad accident yesterday on Highway 30. So not every bill that comes to the legislature is heard, leaves committee, or is even being considered. And one of the bills concerning medical needs and investors in medical operations has been worked on for several years. And another one concerning contractors and responsibility and is also being considered, and it has been worked on for 4 years. And I have to tell you that changing to either standard time or staying on daylight savings time is a really prime example of that. It went back to the committee, and it'll be coming forward again. It has been considered every session since 2017, and it's still not ready for prime time, mostly because of the states surrounding us and, the people that live in one state and work in another state, and especially Washington and Idaho, and how that all impacts them. So stay tuned to find out whether we go back to standard time, whether we do daylight savings time, or we continue on the same path that we're on. Other things that are still in the mix is recreational immunity, and that really has a lot of positive vibes behind it, and it is moving on through, and hopefully it will all be taken care of. 110 is getting closer to being completed. We haven't heard the last yet. When our compatriots here announced that they are ready, a lot of people have still not been brought on board as to what exactly is going to happen in the whole process. So there has to be somewhat of an education process and a vetting of the bill before it can move forward, and hopefully it will with positive positive results. And time is getting short because yesterday sine die was announced, and when that is announced, then there's a 1 hour time limit on everything going forward, and so we are getting to the end. And currently, sine die is scheduled for the 10th of March. However, it could end early. The session could end earlier. We're hearing some murmurings of possible financial things that we could be gaining, but it's not very, how should I say, it's not everything we want. I guess this isn't Christmas and this isn't Santa Claus. So even though they call the bill at the end the Christmas tree bill, we have hopes for things that we can provide for our district, but we won't know until the very end. And so that's about all I have to report today. Once again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to do this. And it is a wonderful opportunity to get to know our state, get to know the conditions, the problems, the challenges that we have all over our state, and to know that we need to work together to be able to create an atmosphere where everyone can be acknowledged and we can go forward positively. So thank you again. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Senator. Commissioners, do we have any questions for Senator Weber?
Commissioner Bell, this is Sheriff Brown. I've got a question.
Hey, great.
Good morning, sure. Senator Weber. Did you get my email about House Bill 4002? And I don't know if you're able to speak on that from your standpoint at all, just out of curiosity.
I can't speak on that. I can't speak on that yet, but just know that we will be supporting our law enforcement folks.
Perfect. That answers my question well enough. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
So, Senator, I was wondering about the governor's housing bill. I read a fascinating article about it in fortune.com a couple days ago, which anybody is welcome to look up if they want to. It was the way the article described it. It looks like that the governor is considering changing some of the land use laws to allow for housing, for workforce housing to be built and to allow cities to expand their urban growth boundaries. And all of that was very interesting to me. And I just wondered if you'd like to say anything about that.
Yes, and it is very interesting. You know, the governor tried to, with her bill in the long session, to be able to create more land for cities to be able to expand and to grow, especially with housing. But her bill was defeated, and so she came back with her housing bill again this time. In the meantime, North Plains worked really hard to make sure that they could increase so that they could add additional workforce housing. And a group, after the city was all ready to go with it, a group came forward, and it's now on the ballot as a referendum. And so the bill regarding the governor's housing has been altered somewhat going forward. because having a referendum on something that a city and planners and everyone vets for an extremely long time, because it takes us a long time to be able to look at those plans, make those plans, and move those plans forward, is counterproductive. So we are waiting to see just exactly what that's going to look like before it goes forward. But the hope is that we will continue on with the governor's bill, because it has really good things in it, and being able to expand urban growth boundaries to increase housing is really important right now. But the thing that I am harping about to the governor and to the Housing Commission is the fact that we in small towns, in rural areas, have some problems with that. And our problems revolve around our infrastructure, our sewer and our water. And being able to build out is very expensive for us, whereas being able to build out in an urban area is not nearly as expensive, because they have already got the sewer and the water, and they don't have to go as far to be able to hook up to those things. And so I think her bill is a good one. I think that this time it will pass. I am hoping that some of the projects that I have put forward to be considered in that bill will actually be considered and be funded. And it's my hope that we can go forward in a lot of rural communities, being able to expand our urban growth boundaries so that we can have additional land to build on. Because we did the buildable land inventory for the county when we were one of the first groups to be able to look at housing and see what a deficit we had. And the city followed with looking at how much land we had that was buildable. And we don't have a lot to be able to create new housing. And so her ideas of increasing that urban growth boundary, I think, are really good ideas, and hopefully they will be acknowledged and go forward positively in the bill. Did I answer your question?
You did. It's exciting. It's, you know, I support land use, of course, because Oregon is beautiful and green, and most of us have been to other states where there's unlimited sprawl and it's ugly and farmland isn't protected, et cetera. However, those land use laws were developed in the 70s and haven't been updated to account for our growing population and our changing needs. And so our land use laws have essentially squeezed us out of land for housing. And so this is very encouraging to me that we're actually seriously talking about updating land use laws to account for our needs for housing.
The other thing is we have to really protect our farmland too. And I think that especially in the valley, you know, where crops are grown and are so well because of the quality of the soil, we have to remember we have to protect that also. And so it is a double-edged sword, you know, to protect our farmland, yes, but to be able to provide for housing, yes.
I totally agree. If folks who are listening want to look up the article I'm referring to, I read it on fortune.com, and it's under Politics Oregon, and the title is long. It's Oregon is so green because it's been literally illegal to build housing outside of cities since the 1970s. That could be changing. And it was also picked up by the Associated Press, so you could look for it in either of those places. Well, thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Do we have Representative Javity with us this morning? Give him a moment to unmute. Well, perhaps not, but if he shows up later, we'll definitely squeeze him in. That being the case, we can move on to the Tillamook County Community Health Center.
Hello, Commissioner Ed Colson here with the Health Department.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Tillamook County. Well, we're holding focus groups online and in person to gather input from as many community members as we can. We need everyone's help to chart the future of the critical services we provide, which includes primary care, dental, behavioral health, environmental health, and public health. Focus groups are limited to about 12 to 15 people per group, and then a gift card will be provided to each person for their time and opinion. Registration is required, so please visit our website, tillamookchc.org, to learn more and register. We still have the overdose prevention training that's happening over at the Blue Heron. This is going to be open to the general public this Thursday, February 29th, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Blue Heron. The training includes a talk about stigma reduction, local overdose data and trends, how to identify and respond to an overdose, and naloxone safety and training. The training also goes in depth on fentanyl exposures and other misinformation that's commonly shared in the media. So we hope to give Tillamook County residents the information and tools they need to navigate this climate that we have found ourselves in. There's going to be a free dinner served by Blue Heron to the first 50 people who RSVP. And to RSVP, please email Rachel Koljeski, and that's rachel.koljeski, and that's KOLJESKY, at tillamookcounty.gov, or you can give us a call, 503-842-3934. There's still a few spots open, so please make sure to RSVP. And that is our community update for the Health Department.
Thank you very much, Ed. Let's move on to the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Gail.
Okay, in Wheeler today, it's raining, and just a few announcements from the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy. We are about ready to proceed with our pharmacy pickup locker, so more information will be coming soon. And also, if you would like to schedule an appointment with us, our clinic is open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pharmacy is open 9 to 5:30, and we're here to serve you. If you would like an appointment or have any questions, please give us a call at 800-368-5182 for more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Let's move on to Tillamook Family Counseling Center.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Frank Hannon Williams, Director, Tillamook Family Counseling Center.
Good morning.
Behavioral health services for Tillamook County residents. You can reach us for information regarding services, appointments, questions, 503-842-8201 or 1-800-962-2851. Would like to keep my update brief today, but I want to share that our Active Parenting series is beginning on March 4th. And that will be 3 sessions. It will be March 4th, March 11th, and March 18th from 6 to 8 p.m., and that is virtual via Zoom. Active Parenting is a comprehensive parenting education series for parents and caregivers of children ages 5 through 12. Participants will get an Active Parenting handbook and a workbook and an opportunity to discuss with other parents and group leaders issues related to building good communication skills and strategies for student success. This training is at no charge and is a part of our partnership with the Northwest Parenting Region that includes Tillamook County, Clatsop County, and Columbia County. For information about the series, to register, you can call 503-842-8201. Actual registration for the series by emailing Melissa, MELISSACS @tfcc.org. And that is my report for this morning, and I'll take any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Frank. Do we have any questions for Frank? If not, we will move on to the Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Brown.
Good morning, Commissioner. I
Good
don't
morning.
have anything major to update. I believe I mentioned that we were going to be swearing in some new employees this week, or actually it was last week. I can say that was done, and I'm very excited to add a couple of new staff members to our office. One of them was a records clerk that's been with us for a few months, and the other two were brand new corrections deputies. We will post that information kind of in celebration of them, hopefully fairly soon on our Facebook page. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but we are going to have a testing event April 5th at the fairgrounds. It'll be for the post-test, which is the written, as well as the physical test, the ORPAT, all in one day. So we'll end up having some more information come out about that as well. And just encourage everybody to follow our Facebook page because we got great information and great stories on there. Recently, we had a team of 5 deputies and lieutenants and sergeants and corporals actually running in the Capes Marathon, or the Capes Relay. And I love that kind of camaraderie and being able to share that kind of story and participate in community events is great. So encourage you to read about that. That's all I've got, and I can take any questions.
Thank you, Sheriff. I did see the posts on Facebook about the Sheriff's Office relay, and it looked like great fun. I was really happy that your staff were able to participate in that, and that the whole community was. It was really a great event.
It really was, yes.
Do you want to say anything about the House bill that you asked Senator Weber about, just in case people are curious?
Sure. I'll just give a quick summary. House Bill 4002 is a ballot measure 110 fix. As everybody knows, ballot measure 110 decriminalized certain levels of hard or upper level drugs in Oregon. I'm not afraid to say that did not work. We actually have had more problems than was anticipated. And so it was clear to everybody that a fix needed to be made. And lots of people were at the table on this, the Oregon State Sheriff's Association representing the sheriffs, the DA's Association, the chiefs of police, and as well as legislators. And the House Bill 4002 is supposed to be a fix. It is only, I believe it's still going through hearings and stuff, which may be one reason why Senator Weber's unable to talk about it quite yet. But hopefully it gets passed and we have a good fix, and we can not only kind of stop the drug crisis, but get those that are addicted some level of help. So a little bit of a better balance, it seems. So that's what the nature of it is, and I realize that that's probably not a whole lot of details, but it is meant to be a fix to our drug crisis.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have been following that also, and it's very interesting. It seems like there are things in it that should have been included the first time when voters passed Measure 110. So it really does seem like there's positive movement forward in the fixes, but also concern about where counties will get the money to do the things that they're called upon to do. So that's probably the constant refrain is how will we pay for it, but it's real. So it'll be fascinating to see how that progresses.
Sure, you bet.
Thank you. Do we have emergency management? Do we have Randy Thorpe on the phone this morning?
Yes, you do, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, you've looked out your window today. You can see that we're in for some quite stormy weather this weekend. I was looking at our river levels, and I saw some spiking of the rivers going on later on this week. And so I got curious. So I dove in a little deeper and looked at predictions for the coastal range here, and they're looking at 5 to 6 inches of snow over the next couple of days. But then the problem is that tomorrow, Wednesday, they're looking at some extremely heavy rain coming even in the coastal range. So that will definitely promote some snow melt, which will definitely impact our river levels. And then they're predicting it turning back to snow for the remainder of the week. But like I say, it's all going to be based upon temperatures at the higher levels. So it's going to be really important to monitor those river levels and keep an eye out to see if we do get that extreme spike in the levels coming Thursday and Friday of this week. So that's just something really to look at with that. It's one time that you kind of wish that temperatures were cold enough it stayed snow, at least at our higher elevations. So that's the biggest thing there. And just be careful. I noticed a few people were posting some pictures of what the roads looked like last night. They did get looked like some good dustiness, some nice wet but very slick snow on them. Back on preparedness, one of my favorite quotes is, "Preparedness, when properly pursued, is a way of life, not a sudden spectacular program." So this week, while you're inside staying warm in front of the fire, sipping your hot cocoa, please evaluate where you are in your journey to your own personal preparedness. And also remember to include some items such as, clothing, bedding, drinking water, financial reserves. It's always good to have that $10 bill stuffed in your mattress just for emergencies. Also, look at your important documents that you need. Make sure that you have those in a safe location. And also look at your long-term supply of some basic food items, also medication, and definitely first aid supplies. And also, look at trying to get a 3-month supply of food that is part of your normal diet. And another important thing is ways to communicate with your family members following that disaster. So just always think preparedness. Another good way, again, is that if you see any courses that are being taught in CPR, AED training, or first aid, please sign up and get whatever additional training that you can get, because it's always going to be extremely helpful, not only in disaster times, but just in our normal everyday life. So with that, just be safe if you're going to be out traveling, and stay warm and stay prepared. And that's all I have for today.
Thank you, Randy. Before we move on to the Board of Commissioners, I'd like to just ask if Representative Javity was able to join us after all. If not, let's move right into the Board of County Commissioners. Commissioner Scar.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. You're welcome.
All right. Well, it has been a busy week, as it always is. I was looking back at my calendar just to kind of see where have I been and what have I been up to, because there's been a lot going on. So last week we had a couple of different meetings that I'll talk briefly about. I'm going to start, let's see, which one shall I start with? So I had the opportunity last week to meet with the mayor of Manzanita. I'm not sure if Catherine Stock will be with us this morning, but it was a great meeting, just sitting down and talking about what they're doing in Manzanita, what we're doing in the county, and how those two pieces align, and where are we doing work that really supports one another. And you've heard me talk about the housing projects that are proposed in Manzanita that were part of the funding round of recommendations from the Tillamook County Housing Commission. So it's really exciting. They're great partners in that. And it was great to visit with Catherine as well as Linda Kozlowski. So I want to thank her for the time and the opportunity to kind of just refresh that relationship and look more closely at how the county can work with Manzanita. I think sometimes people have a feeling that the county is over the cities. And I just always like to clarify that, in fact, the cities have home rule. They are responsible and in charge of their own activities, their own destiny. And so when there are projects happening in the cities, it's wonderful if we know about them and can work alongside them if it makes sense. But the county is not over the top of the cities. We don't have control over what they do at all. It's always a partnership. So I just appreciate the partnership work with the city of Manzanita. That was a great opportunity. On Friday, I traveled to Salem for the Forest Trust Land Advisory Committee meeting, and that is the committee that advises the Board of Forestry and the district or the state forester. We are all preparing for what we expect to be a recommendation from the forester to come to the Board of Forestry on the 6th of March. I think I talked about this last week, but I just like to flag it for folks because if you're interested, the Board of Forestry meetings are available online. They have a YouTube channel that you can watch. You're not able to interact, but you can watch. There will be testimony from the Forest Trust Land Advisory counties on Wednesday about 3:30 at that meeting if you're interested in listening in to what the message is that we're giving to the Board of Forestry at sort of the final hour. And then on Thursday, I believe it starts at 9, will be the actual item of the recommendation, which we do not yet know what that recommendation is. The state forester is working very hard to make sure that that comes out hopefully by the end of, I believe it will be this week if it all goes according to plan, so we can see it before the meeting, as could you. So keep your eye on the Board of Forestry page. As we've talked about, there's a lot of impact that will come to our community from that habitat conservation plan with reductions in harvest. Last Friday evening, I attended the Tillamook Coast Tourism Banquet. So what a great event. Just to sit and listen and hear the number of different activities that are happening across Tillamook County, that while they are a part of our tourism network, they're also part of our local network. The number of businesses that operate that we all really enjoy. They recognize Wanda's, they recognize the Heart of Cardam, they recognize the Nehalem Valley Historical Society, and quite a few more. But there are places that we all frequent as well as our visitors frequent. So it's a really great look at just how have we taken tourism, which is one of our economic drivers, and it is here to stay. People have found Tillamook County and they love it. But how have we taken that and also invested in things that are great for our local folks? One of the other things they highlighted that's been invested in is the David's Chair program. And those are amazing. If you haven't seen the David's Chair, you should go and check it out. There's one that is available for rent out of the Manzanita Visitor Center. There's one that's available at Happy Camp here in Central, and there's one that's available out of South. And I apologize, I can't remember who in South houses that, but you can look online and find it. And these are like they have a track on them, and it allows someone with limited mobility to freely move around on the beach. You don't have to have somebody pushing you. It's motorized, and it just really changes the experience. And those are available for local folks as well as for visitors. So I just encourage people to take a look at that. So again, great things highlighted at that event, and really, really a good look at what's happening across Tillamook County. Two other things I want to highlight. One is the Houseless Action Network. So I talked a lot about House Bill 4123 probably about a year and a half ago, which was the $1 million we received to put together a coordinated homeless services office. And that office has been stood up. It is at CARE. And the Houseless Action Network has been launched, which is a group of agencies that all provide services to those experiencing houselessness. And they are working together on the 5-year strategic plan that was created out of that grant, as well as the annual plan under that, which we are in year 1. And if you're interested in knowing more, I'd like to point you toward the CARE website, where there is a Houseless Action Network page. It explains a little bit more about the background of the project, a little bit more about the project and where it is right now, and an opportunity if you would like to engage. It lets you know how to do that. So I just would like to send everyone to the CARE page, which is careinc.org, and the Houseless Action Network page within that. We had our first in-person meeting this week, and boy, that was a lot of fun. So we had great conversations, a lot of excitement, a lot of energy around the work toward helping those who are experiencing houselessness. So take a look at that if you'd like to get involved. There's an opportunity to reach out, and the information is on that page. And then the I guess the last thing I'll highlight is that the Salmonberry Trail Foundation, in partnership with Tillamook County, has prepared a RAISE grant, and RAISE is a grant through the U.S. Department of Transportation. The ask will be for $25 million, which is a huge ask, to build a section of the Salmonberry Trail right through the middle of Rockaway Beach. So Rockaway Beach is a strong partner with us in this grant. An outside consulting agency was used through the Salmonberry Trail Foundation to identify what section of the trail would most likely be funded under this grant. There are very specific guidelines to the grant, and the section in Rockaway Beach was the one that came out with the highest score. So that is where that grant will focus. It is going to be submitted in the next week, and we will all keep our fingers crossed and hope that that money comes through. It would be amazing to really take a big bite out of that Salmonberry Trail and get something built that would be immediately functional, would be visible, and would really help catalyze, I think, additional building along the trail. So that's an exciting thing that the commissioners approved this week to go forward. Actually, I will say one more thing quickly. House Bill 4002, which was spoken about by both the senator and by the sheriff. We as counties, we have also been at the table for those conversations and actually worked really hard leading up to this session, working with all 36 counties to try to find a central voice that we could agree on as to what needed to happen. And there was definitely agreement that some form of recriminalization was really needed in order to provide the encouragement, but that long-term jail sentences were not what people were looking for, not across all counties. It was an opportunity to utilize that sort of incentive, if you will, from law enforcement to help people find their way to treatment, but not to penalize people long term with a criminal charge that would stay with them and make them less able to be successful. So those were the pieces that the counties have taken to the table. I know there is still a lot of negotiation going on. I think they were up to something like the -24 amendment last time I took a look. So these are difficult bills. It's 137 pages long. So clearly there's a lot in there, a lot of work being done. And we will all keep our fingers crossed for an outcome that really makes the intention of Measure 110 work a lot better. So with that, Chair, I will turn it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Commissioner Scar? If not, we'll move on to Commissioner Olson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning again, everyone. A couple of corrections to what was said earlier. Randy said when you're preparing for disasters, put $10 away. And I'm going to suggest it ought to be 20 or a 50, maybe 100 these days. $10 won't get you very far. However, do what you can. And then also, Commissioner Scar mentioned David's Chair. That's a wonderful program, and it is available in Pacific City at PC Poor. They have built a separate little structure, and you can go to their website, I believe, or David's Chair, and make arrangements. It's as she mentioned, it's a track vehicle, motorized, that if someone is disabled in one form or another, you can take it and go right down on the beach and go right up to the water's edge. It's really a wonderful program. Before I talk about a couple of things, I want to bring up something that we haven't talked about here, and that's athletics here in Tillamook County. Many of you will remember last year, Tillamook boys football went all the way to the state playoff game, and they lost, but they finished second in the whole state of Oregon. Well, this year we have two really, really good basketball teams that are on their way to state tournaments. Up north, Neocani boys, I think they've won at least 19, maybe 20 games, and they're headed down on the central or south coast down to Coos Bay, North Bend area. They play Thursday at 3:30 p.m., Westside Christian at North Bend, and then if they win and go to the next level, they'll just go down the road to Marshfield and play again Friday and possibly Saturday for the state championship. So really, really good boys basketball team out of Neocani. And then at the other end of our county, we have the Nestucca girls team that I believe they've won 24 and lost only 3 games. They're also in the state tournament. They're headed over to Pendleton, I think, either Thursday as well. They play at 3:15 and they'll play Napa, a team that's in their league. And they beat them twice this year, but only by a couple or 3 points. So they'll be playing in Pendleton 3:15 on Thursday. My wife and I attended that meeting or game on Saturday, and it was what you call an biting your nails type game. It went back and forth, and with about 10 seconds to go, Nestucco was down by a point. And they got the ball, went down the length of the court, and scored. So now they're ahead 34-33 with 5 seconds to go. So then Colton takes the ball and goes the other way, throws up a shot, the buzzer goes off, and the basket is not made. The ball bounced away, and so Nestucco wins 34-33 and on to the state tournament. So lest you think there's nothing going on athletics in Tillamook County, you'd be wrong. There's two really, really good teams. And you know the nice thing, and this is just my editorial comment, when you go to a game like that, a high school game or college or even the pros, it doesn't matter if you arrived in a Mercedes or an old beater truck. You sit down next to somebody and everybody's the same. You want your team to win, you yell and support them, and it's just a kind of a timeout and everything going on in the world where you can watch kids give it their all, and sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. But it's really a way to take a breather from all the stuff that's going on in the world. Okay, so on to a couple of items I'll mention. The Recreation Immunity Bill we've already talked about. I will mention there's a hearing today, and we've been following it quite closely. It passed out of the Senate Committee on Judiciary last week, and it's now before the House Committee on the Judiciary. And that's where the hearing is today. And hopefully that will come out of the committees and onto the floor and be adopted. And what this provides, it restores some recreational immunity, which was taken away on a recent court case as a result of an accident in Newport. And without going into a lot of detail, it simply provides that if you cross county land or you recreate on county land or city land or publicly owned land or even private land, if you go hunting on private property with the owner's permission and something happens or you're injured, you really can't sue the owners of the land, whether it's a city or county or a private individual. That has changed with this court ruling. And so we're all hoping that the legislature provides a fix for that. And I believe the current bill would fix that at least for a year. And then there would be a more comprehensive analysis and fix at the longer legislative session next year. So I know Tillamook County has closed at least 2 trails, and cities have closed trails and access points, and others have as well. And so it really puts a damper across the ability to move around the outdoors in Oregon, which we all do. So a fix is in the works on that one, we hope. A couple of other items. I attended the annual meeting of the Salmon Superhighway Group last week. And what that is, that's a group that was formed about 10 years ago. And they came together, and it's biologists and wildlife specialists, city, county, state, public works people. And they ended up mainly in Tillamook County to start with. And they said they looked across our drainage system, which includes not just the known rivers and the named rivers, but all these little creeks and things that pass out of the mountains and into the bigger rivers and then on into the ocean. And the culverts that they flow through, which go under the roads that we have all over our hills and mountains, a lot of them are in disrepair, and they become clogged, and they do not allow fish passage for those types of fish that need to move around the streams, particularly the anadromous fish that come in and spawn. So this group came together and got some state and federal funding and grants, and they have so far repaired over 50 culverts in Tillamook County. That means taking them out, rebuilding them, widening them, strengthening them. And we now have at least 50, and they're still going strong, 50 places where fish can pass like they did before there were any roads and culverts and obstructions other than what nature provided. So that was a big deal, and they're still continuing on. I also met last week with Mayor Stock and Manzanita, and we had separately from what Commissioner Scar said, and I think Commissioner Bell met as well. So we had a good conversation. She's new to that position, and so we talked about what could we do together, what does the county do, what does the city do, what are some of the issues that prevent us from doing these kinds of things. And so we had a good conversation for a couple of hours. So I'll mention just one other thing, kind of long view, and you're going to hear much more about this over the coming weeks and months. The county is working on acquiring a building here in the Tillamook area to relocate our courts, the court system, and the district attorney. And the conversation is now in the hands of legal counsel, and we're hoping we can come to terms on that and find a way to pay for it and take care of a long security problem that's been here in Tillamook County, and also a space problem. So it wouldn't be the absolute perfect solution, but it would be so much better than what we have now and so much safer for all those involved in the court system. And then the last thing I'll mention is this spring, we're also going to be looking at replacement of our public safety radio system across the county. And that would include police, fire, possibly PUD, public works, ambulance service. The county's radio system, and the ones used by others, I think, is in the range of 20 or more years old. And it's difficult to obtain parts. A lot of it is analog rather than digital. And so you'll hear more about that. And I mention that just so it will get on your radar screen that sometime this spring we're going to talk in considerably more detail about replacing the county's radio system as a matter of public safety. So a lot more to come on that. So I think with that, Commissioner, I will end this, my part of this meeting, and kick it back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions for Commissioner Olson? Well, I'll just mention a few things. Last week, my fellow commissioners and I all attended the Adventist Health Tillamook Civic Advisory Board meeting. We're all members of the Civic Advisory Board. And I just want the community to know that we had a lengthy, in-depth discussion about the closing of U.S. Renal facility in Tillamook, which provides dialysis to local patients. So you may have heard about this in the news or online or listening to our meetings, and everybody's worried about it. So I just want the community to know that everyone is worried about our local patients who are currently receiving dialysis, and a lot of people are working on solutions for that. Our legislators are working on solutions. The folks at the hospital are trying to come up with solutions. The commissioners sent a letter to U.S. Renal Care asking them to reconsider or extend. So a lot of people are working on the issue, and some solutions have been crafted. Arrangements have been made for people to go to other clinics to receive dialysis, and transportation arrangements are being made for them. After our meeting, our Civic Advisory Board meeting, I reached out to Jim Heffernan, who is on the Tillamook County Transportation District Board, and Jim and I talked about the situation a little bit, and he shared that the Transportation District, some people had visited their board meeting and talked about the need for transportation to go out of town for dialysis, but they couldn't afford the transportation. So the Tillamook County Transportation District approved scholarships, transportation scholarships for those folks to go out of town and receive dialysis. So bravo to the Tillamook County Transportation District, and I'm grateful to everyone's efforts who are working on this. And I just want people to know that everyone who knows about this cares about it, and a lot of people are working behind the scenes to try to come up with accommodations for those people. And on the subject of community health, this last Sunday there was an event called the Compassion Clinic in Tillamook at the YMCA, And I didn't attend, but I heard a lot about it. And I worked with someone who was there, who was working that event. And it's just remarkable. And I want to say bravo to the community area churches, to local churches put on this compassion clinic. And apparently it's something that's being done. There's a movement, a compassion clinic movement among churches in the United States, where they stand up a clinic and they have medical care and dental care and clothing and food and just all kinds of things to provide to people. And so I worked with someone who was organizing volunteers for the event, and she said it was great. It was really well attended. They hope to do it again and to get the word out even more. And so it's another way that I'm really grateful to our community and grateful to live here in a place where people pour their heart and soul into doing good things for their neighbors. And on that subject, bravo to Charity Drive, to Tillamook High School students for their completion. I think they earned $223,000 this year in 10 days, and half of that goes to Dornbecker, half of it goes to local concerns, including scholarships and local nonprofits. And it's an outstanding event, and it really showcases the generosity of our community and the hard work of young people who live here, and the commitment of generations of people who participate in it. I would be willing to bet that of those of us on this call or listening to this call, probably the majority of us participated in Charity Drive in some way or another, because it's become part of our culture. And I just really love that about our community. I also want to say thanks. We mentioned the Three Capes Relay earlier when Sheriff Brown was talking. I want to say thanks to Pat Zweifel for organizing that, for putting that on. It was a big event and lots of people got to participate. And this year, there were significant challenges to the event because of the landslide on Sand Lake Road, because the Three Capes Relay route is supposed to go beyond the landslide over that space and end in Pacific City. But it was impossible this year because of the landslide. So there was a lot of adjustment that had to be done, adjustment to the route, adjustment to the permits, adjustment to the organization of the event and the communication for people who are used to it being a certain way. And so bravo, Pat Zweifel, for pulling that off. And it's really, it's a wonderful contributor to our community health, because I know people who participated in that who aren't runners, people who have a goal of being more active, or people who wanted to get out and do something with their friends, so it's a really uplifting, fun way for our community to be active together. So I'm grateful to everyone who helped pull that together, even in the face of a landslide, which, had the potential to put the kibosh on the whole thing. So with that, I will stop talking and move on to the cities. I believe we have Mayor Stock from Manzanita online. Mayor Stock?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, good morning.
Great. Good morning to everyone, and thank you for everyone for the updates. I'm finding these calls really interesting, and I just say from a newer comer's perspective, they are extremely useful to understand the web of all of our organizations and how people work together. So I'm very happy to be here this morning. Just a few things from up north here in Manzanita. Our new counselor, Tom Campbell, is on board, so we are back up to full strength on our city council. And perhaps coincidentally, Tom, our newest counselor, is also the head of our Nehalem, the Nehalem Valley Historical Society, which I understand was honored at the banquet that was mentioned earlier in the call. They've done a terrific job there, and Tom has really contributed personally quite a bit to that. So it was nice to hear that news about their award, and we're also very happy to have him on council. In other appointments, we have reappointed Karen Reddick Yurka, who's been a long-term member of our Planning Commission. Karen has most recently, for several years now, served as the chair of that commission. And with all of the
land use issues before us and the opportunities as well. We're very grateful to have a seasoned leader at the head of that part of our city government here. It's a very important and increasingly visible group for our city. So shout out to the Planning Commission here. In terms of city housekeeping, which is something that doesn't get a whole lot of attention, but is really important, we've been working, and staff here have been working hard to get a master fee schedule organized for us as a city. All of our cities are in different states and stages of where they've been in the history of how their ordinances and codes have evolved. Our city has had over the years a lot of fees built into our ordinances, and sometimes I'll just say it's a challenge to sort out where in the ordinances everything is connected. So I guess in layperson's terms, we're organizing that and getting that neatened up so that it's easy for us to review that, look at it annually, make sure that we're doing a proper job with changing things properly when we do make adjustments to fees. And I want to thank our city manager, Layla Aman, and the staff who've been working very hard on that. So we're not finished, but we're well underway with that. And we've got, I think, at least one other workshop ahead of us to go through the details. We are going to have a town hall meeting tonight. It's a virtual meeting on Zoom. We'll be discussing progress on our city hall and police station project. That one's been a long time coming, but we are getting closer and closer to beginning construction on a new facility for our staff and our law enforcement folks, and for the city, of course, for all of us to be able to use as a central place to get city services. That meeting, should you be so inclined, and I think everybody on this call already has a pretty heavy meeting schedule, but if you are inclined, it'll start at 5:30, and you can access that on the City of Manzanita's homepage. Everything's there front and center to hopefully easily just click and join us if you'd like to do that. Finally, I'd like to express my thanks and gratitude to Commissioners Bell, Scar, and Olson. They were very kind and gracious with their time this week and last week to help me with some orientation meetings and make sure I'm getting my feet on the ground and understand the connections we have, and more importantly, the work that we all share. My experience in onboarding in the last couple of months has really been an increasing awareness that our issues and our challenges and our opportunities are remarkably similar, depending on whether you're a city, whether you're the county, whatever work project you're working on. We have a tremendous amount in common, and I'm looking forward to finding all of the ways that we can work together most effectively. So I'm still very honored to be in the spot that I'm in, and very glad for all the people, the hardworking people I've met and had a chance to get to know a little bit better. So thank you. And that's it from us in Manzanita.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And it was a pleasure to get to know you a little bit and spend some time talking to you last week. So thank you. Before I move on with the other cities, I forgot to mention something important that's happening in South County. And so I'm just going to jump in here and talk about this. For folks who live in South County, you certainly know, but other people may know as well, that the Cape Kiwanda parking lot is under construction. It's being repaved. That funky old bathroom is being replaced, etc. And the intention was to work on half of the parking lot and keep the other half closed. But as construction has progressed, the timeline is in question now because of serious extreme weather delays, minor changes, and the landslide closure of Sand Lake Road. Has a whole series of things has changed the timeline of that construction. So what we've decided to do is to close the parking lot completely as of March 4th for a couple of months to be able to facilitate the completion of the parking lot reconstruction and get it open. The intention is to get it open by the 4th of July, by busy season in the summer. And so So that's a change from the original plan to work on half of it, keep half of it open. Because if we continue with the original plan, it may not get done this summer, which is unacceptable. So we just need to revise our plan. So public access to the beach for dories will be maintained, so that's not an issue. Limited parking will be made available during Oregon spring break. And parking will be free, and additional parking will become available by May as the north side of the lot is completed. So when it's done, we'll open it for parking. Pedestrian access to the beach is encouraged along Pelican Brewing sidewalk, and there will be more signage and resource maps. We'll do everything we can to let people know. This information will be on the county website, on the Parks landing page. It'll be on tillamookcoast.com. You can go there for more information and for updates. And we'll do everything we can to get the word out, not only to locals, but to visitors. And we apologize in advance for inconvenience, but I think, nobody wanted to see the parking lot entirely closed. And also, we definitely don't want to see it incomplete this summer. So this is the best fix under the circumstances. So thank you for indulging me in that. And we'll move on with the cities. Do we have anybody on from Nehalem or Wheeler? I heard from Mayor McNeely that he is not with us this week from Rockaway Beach. How about Garibaldi? Mayor Findling told me that she has a regular meeting at 9 o'clock on Tuesdays, so I think we just missed her. How about the city of Bay City?
Hi, Commissioner Bell. This is Leanne Welch with Bay City.
Good morning.
Hi. Well, I'd like to thank the Visit Tillamook Coast for our new electronic wayfinding signs. They have been connected by the contractor. Unfortunately, we're experiencing connectivity issues and cannot yet change the face of the sign. So currently, they've got a big red blob that says Watchfire on them. Watchfire is the name of the company that manufactured the display. So I'm glad that didn't happen during the summertime, but we are working to get that changed soon. We are also coming into the budget season, and Bay City has a couple of vacancies on the budget committee. So any residents of Bay City listening to this, please feel free to fill out an application, and your voice will be heard. And we also have the Bay City Emergency Volunteer Meetings the third Monday of every month at 5:30 at Bay City. And I encourage, just like Randy Thorpe was talking about, to learn how to be prepared and to join our efforts in preparing our community. So unless there's any questions for the city of Bay City, that's my report for today.
Thank you, Mayor. And thanks for explaining about that sign, because I had seen the red readout and thought, what on earth does that mean? So thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's move on to the city of Tillamook. Nathan George, are you with us?
Good morning, Commissioner. I am.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. In our police department, the Tillamook High School charity drive wrapped up this past week. Several officers and our professional staff attended charity drive events. This is always an enjoyable time for community, and we want to thank the Tillamook High School students, parents, staff, and community. Good work. Officer Fitzgerald and Lieutenant Troxel attended the Mornings on Main hosted by Tillamook Chamber of Commerce. The attendance was great, and both enjoyed seeing familiar faces and meeting new people. Coffee with a Cop was hosted by Starbucks this past week. This event is designed to have casual conversations with community members while enjoying a relaxing environment over a cup of coffee. This is a great turnout and had excellent conversations for coffee. Actually, conversations and coffee, and we want to thank our community and Starbucks for hospitality. I also was able to attend that, and that was really a great event with lots of good turnout. Lieutenant Troxel presented to our local Rotary Club, providing an update from the police department. Lieutenant Troxel has been a Rotarian for over 15 years. This avenue of service and connection with the community is invaluable for our city and police department. And City Manager George, myself, and Lieutenant Troxel attended the Houseless Action Network's monthly meeting that Commissioner Scar touched on briefly this morning. This meeting was hosted by the county as well, attended in both person and online. The conversation and action this group is taking with our community in addressing homelessness is extremely important, and we want to thank everyone who's working on that together. Thank you for having us as part of the conversation. In the Public Works Department, on February 26th, city staff met with Willamette Partnership and RCAC. These are two nonprofit organizations that will be providing the city with free technical assistance. RCAC will undertake a comprehensive water rate study and asset inventory, while Willamette Partnership will play a pivotal role in strategizing for future infrastructure projects and identify funding opportunities. So city staff are very thrilled to collaborate with Willamette Partnership and the RCAC to improve our community's infrastructure. This partnership would not be possible without the support of our governor's office and the regional solutions team. We really appreciate everyone. We spent almost the entire day out in the morning going out and looking at different problems that we have, and then we spent many hours planning and working together. So we're very, very excited about this opportunity. As previously announced several times, City Council adopted an ordinance updating the 1970 City Code regarding private sewer lateral lines. Since the 1970s, residents have been responsible for maintaining their private sewer lateral lines and to fix them when problems occur. However, property owners only had 60 days in the past to test and fix their lateral lines if there's a problem. The new ordinance passed by Council gives residents 180 days or 6 months to test and inspect, 180 days, which is 6 months to correct any issues, and potentially up to an additional 180 days if they file for hardship and are granted additional time. Currently, the city has a severe rainwater issue coming to the city's treatment plant. 50 to 70% of this issue is on the private side of the city's system. Ordinance violation notices will start going out probably to residents very soon who have failed sewer laterals, and the city will be working on this a little bit of time, so we're going to take an approach of a little bit of time. Just also wanted to mention that this is the major issue why we're not able to have growth on the east side of town, because it's the full reason because of the wastewater issues, but a majority of those wastewater issues are due to the private lines, which have not been maintained, unfortunately, and the city's lines haven't been maintained as well. DEQ has spent the last 3 decades citing the town, having the city, and has concerns. And we are trying to actually fix it correctly this time and have it fixed fully and comprehensively. So it's a big burden, but it's the best thing for our community. Additionally, staff would like to encourage and remind the citizens of the sewer line warranties of America warranty policy available through HomeServe. This is a very low-cost insurance and can help provide a financial assistance when fixing sewer laterals, even when your water line is going to your home. So more information on this policy is available at City Hall or online at www.slwofa.com. That's probably hard to remember, but you can also call us and we will help provide the information. We have several positions available in the City of Tillamook. Please visit our website, stop by City Hall for an application. Just my always reminder, if you see something, say something by calling 911 for emergencies or dispatch for non-emergencies. And the next council meeting will be held on Monday, March 4th at 6 p.m. And rather than our regular meeting, the council will be holding a work session with presentations from, one, the police department. The police department will be focused on the goals, strategies, state and local laws, and the work of our police department in our community. And the Public Works Department will be discussing private sewer lateral lines. So we encourage everyone interested in your local government to attend virtually or in person. And also on Saturday, April 13th at 9 a.m., the City Council will hold a council planning and goal setting work session, which will be held at the Tillamook main location of the Tillamook County Library. That's all I have, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Nathan? Do we have anything else for the good of the order? If not, I will say thank you to KTIL for broadcasting this call. Thanks to everyone for participating, and thank you to everyone for listening. This meeting is adjourned at 9:09 a.m.